it by taking something, I was going to say like a Renata, but a Rel instead. That's going to add to the engage, and there is the very obvious Braum that is coming in.
The laning phase is going to be so interesting. I think our observer cam is going to be practically fixated on the bottom lane for this early game.
We'll be starting on the top crab, and Ona with the bottom one. Maybe there is a bit of a rivalry, right? Because Kanavi was on the Korean Asia Games team.
That's
and
true.
Ona was not.
That's a really good point, actually. There's even more storylines than we initially thought.
Oh, it just
Guma
runs so deep.
is the target.
Yeah, Guma and Delight in a lot of trouble. Great Valkyrie comes on through, though, and down will go Carrier in trade for first blood. And as you can see here, is now looking to challenge for the respawning Raptors. As Ona is going to come on over level 5, though, here for Kanavi. Feeling pretty comfy. We'll have to see how that one's going to eventuate, as Gumayushi going to get stunned up here, down very, very low, and could just be a 2v2 kill. It is! They're looking for Delight as well! And T1 demonstrating that they do not miss Gumayushi that much. And he's just going to look for him, and we've got an Azir and an Aatrox moving up this jungle. All right, could be a fight over the red buff. Here's the flash forward. The crashdown comes down as Ona could be in trouble. Winter's Bite doesn't find the mark as now Carrier has to run away as the world has ended.
We kind of reset. Kanavi is going to continue to farm like a champ here in the jungle, taking the Raptors away.
He has taken so many camps. We've got a bit of a fight happening, but here's another one. The seismic shove is pretty good there defensively, but Guma is just likely dead again. There it is.
A bit late.
If he had done those spells in the other order, maybe it would have been better. As Doran is going to be burning down by the equalizer momentarily, but Zeus not going to get the most amount of value out of it. The flash comes forward, the flame spitter is there, and there are now minions helping Zeus out. It is only a matter of time before that fire comes back, and he burns him in the brush. And Pays is turned up for his 4th kill. Zeus is going to go down, and he is cold.
Hasn't done too much just yet, as here comes a Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall comes in. Zeus doesn't have his flash available. He's going to get thrown around like a ragdoll. Teleport is going to come in. We'll see whether Zeus can buy some time, but this is a bit of a dangerous teleport. They are going to stick around as Zeka will find Emperor's Divide, throws Doran back as Kanavi needs to hit a couple of these Qs, finds one onto Faker as the seismic shove comes in. There's a flash forward as the Infernal Chains land, but he takes 2 turret shots, and that is going to spell his demise. Zeka also.
But speaking of save,
yeah, in the meantime, you've got Pays going aggressive onto Delight. They do get the heal as concussive blows is being dodged around really beautifully. The heal comes down as Pays desperately able to find another kill, but the shutdown eventually comes in for Gumayushi.
This Pays guy's insane!
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad that he's back in Korea, and man, he is making a statement.
On kills than he is on levels, it feels. Faker is in danger.
Yeah, Delight is going to be moving over. Kanavi's here as well, and Faker realizes he is very, very dead. Tries to deal with a wave, and it is just going to be the Darkened Blade to take him down. So Kanavi, well and truly on the board now, 2-1 and 0.
That's a big win. That's a big win. They catch Faker.
And now HLE need to grab some objectives on this map as Ona is getting the knock up onto Delight. He's going to get stunned there as well. Worldender does come on through as now Pays could be in trouble. He gets stunned though. Now Pays able to hold Kanavi at bay. Picks up a double kill. 7-1 and 0.
Guma is also just trying to greed to catch up. And Owner does have flash. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he gets into the brush. Will be interrupted. Does flash, but he's still dead. There is no way he's... Oh, never mind. Does have the barrier. That might buy a little bit of time as he gets the kill back onto Carrier, his former support. And he didn't have shoes. That's why he looked like he was going so incredibly slowly.
He was just puttering along. But Owner doesn't flash on the play.
Oh, public execution here towards the top side of the map. Zeus, he's going to throw down the equalizer, mainly on the minion wave, as now he's going to turn it onto Doran. He silences himself. Great flashing out of the way, and Zeus survives. Navi does get that control ward down, and it looks like this dragon is going to be pretty dangerous. This T1 are now going to back away. There is a Weaver's Wall, so Faker can really take some control of this fight, but now Carrier looking for a little bit of an angle. The Infernal Chains are fantastic, but down goes the Braum already. Emperor's Divide finds 2. Faker is torn apart, and Guma picks up a triple. It's now 10-9 as the HLE new 80 carry roars to life, and now there's an equalizer under Pays. He's like, wait, where's my new team gone? And it's a quadra in the end, I guess unofficially.
Now, they are going to lose this topside turret here, and it looks like Owner with this control with Carrier is poised to take this Herald. We're going to see a TP commitment from Faker. His ultimate is not yet up, but it's up very soon.
Yeah, Kanavi into this brush now as well. Control vision for HLE. See whether they can find the fight as Kanavi gets on in there. Who can take this one? It's going to be stolen away. It's Kanavi now flashes on top of them. Carrier goes down, another two-man Empress Divide from Zeka. And HLE just have the team fighting down pat here in this game as Guma looking to flash after the GOAT. And Faker, can he escape? It looks like the answer might be yes.
Grabs that
as
Cinder.
Gumayushi is going to look for him, but will not find, as now Faker will be able to make his way back. Doran is now going to pay a visit to his old AD carry, and his old AD carry says, I've got some new friends, Doran. Do you want to meet them? As the phosphorus bomb comes down, and there is a dead Ambassa. These teams are positioned down towards this bottom side.
They have such a huge lead of that huge wave they shoved into top side. Zeus also has this bottom wave pushing, so there's just no real strong entry point here for T1. Pays is clearing the mid wave before Zeka can get over, and Hanwha Life have already started up this Otacon.
Yeah, it's going to discover what's happening here for HLE, but Zeus in position to throw down an equalizer if they'd like to start this up. There's the Magnus Storm onto 3 as Gumayushi trying to deal with Ona, but Ona just evaporates. Carrier going to be going down next as a public execution. Yeah, Doran wishes that wasn't public. It's a triple kill to step a foot out of line, right? And right now it's looking like Faker might have a foot out of line. Shattering Strike comes in. Flash has to come down there as the seismic shove, not exactly in the best position. The equalizer, you know, a little bit to be desired, but that's zoning, ladies and gentlemen, as Zeka is going to be able to take down his opposite number.
But they can set so many traps off of it because their damages there. T1 will have to respect this, which is why Doran goes to the bottom side of the map here with his TP. He needs to deal with these waves so he can TP into a potential Baron contest when that happens, because it's a near 3-item Azir that Zeka is piloting. This Corki does insane work, and they're already getting control of this Scuttle.
Yeah, it's a very scary game, as Kanavi also building towards item number 3 as well. Man, you get to like a Death's Dance or something like that, and this is going to be a very, very difficult game. GA would also be fine, but...
Hey, I don't think he's dying even once, so I don't know if he needs that GA.
I'm thinking GA maybe is unnecessary, is now Faker off on a flank angle. Oh, the Umbral Dash too good out of Kanavi here as they do look for him with the ultimate. They will be able to find it, but this is an Aatrox, and he is so durable. Public execution into the back line from Doran, but he just turns into food for the HLE tank. And down they will go. It's a double here for Kanavi as in goes Ona, making it a triple. Pays realizes that he just has to try and get what he can. He'll kill Guma one more time, but the last laugh will be Guma, says HLE. He's doing his very best, but it's not quite working out here as the rest of HLE just too strong. 2-0 and 11 for Zeka. A very quiet game on the Azir, but back-to-back double divides really looking good as Doran looking for a public execution in amongst 4 people as he tries to dash his way out. The ulti from Carrier might be able to keep him alive, as the Redemption will be able to heal him back up again. But, I mean, what did this achieve?
I mean, Faker got a bounty turret on the other side. He has TP. They're going to have to contest this dragon. Pays needs to get in here as soon as possible. He's trying to help push that wave. He needs to get right over to the team fight.
Yeah, they get some vision down. Faker going to teleport his way in. Doran now without an ulti. It's going to be very difficult for him to affect this fight unless he gets an incredible flank angle. Ona diving on in as Kanavi gets on top of Carrier. He flashes into the pit. They steal away the Baron. Both of them get wiped out immediately afterwards. But T1, that is a heist that's successful with a couple of casualties.
Yeah.
As Kanavi's pretty angry about it. He's going to get shoved back though as Pays does the damage. And down will go the Aatrox. It's Faker that grabs that kill, as he still has the Baron and will be able to dash out of the way of these infernal chains. Not a whole lot to fight for on this map right now, as, oh god, these rockets from Gumayushi are really hurting. Pays taking so much damage as Delight finds the Magnus Storm, but only onto 2. Pays able to get himself out of the way, and Delight is already dead. Now Kanavi looks for some Qs and will be able to get one of them onto Carrier. Faker going to be his target though as he gets smote and taken down. Doran gets into that backline, and now Pays is fighting against this massive Aatrox, knocked up and destroyed. And it's Zeus and Kanavi left alive at the end.
Zeus and Kanavi with this super minion wave are going to push down and end game 1. Some heroics there from Doran, gets on top of Guma and takes him out. Zeka's out of the fight, but the real carry all game long has been Kanavi on the Aatrox, and he and Zeus will take their victory lap as Hanwha Life Esports take game 1 in a massive comeback.
Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous though, right? Because these are 2 games where we've seen 10,000 gold leads challenged by the opposing side. Ultimately, not actually enough here in game number 1. But I think there is a bit of an idea that perhaps we've got a series on our hands. Wolf, like, can you see it? I'm looking at my hands now, and I think I can see some series.
Felt like we had a series within that game, and it was really impressive to see both the early game played out from FaZe with their Braum Lucian composition and how well they snowball with it, but then also the team fighting prowess of Kanavi, because for a lot of this tournament, with Hanwha's domination leading to our top 4, it was Kanavi getting Guma ahead and just snowballing those lanes, and that was kind of the end of the Hanwha Life story. We didn't have to see any more depth, we didn't have to see any close team fighting because they just won games so early, it didn't matter.
And Hope could be the way.
Rek'Sai and Hope is pretty close.
Yep, Rek'Sai, that'll work. That certainly is one of those
Feels
options.
Pretty good into both the Sejuani, which is likely to be the culprit here, and the Wukong. But the Wukong is definitely going jungle now that we see the Seraphine. Everything is revealed. It's going to be top Sejuani here for Zeus.
Rough one. I do want to say, though, that... oh, never mind. Zeka taking a bit of damage. But I wanted to say, Gumayusi had a little bit of a rough early game in the last game. I'm a little bit frightened of what he's going to be capable of when he has a good early game. Zeka, not so much the good early game, as Owner is going to pay a visit. This guy pretty good. As now T1 going to transition into some grubs. Kanavi is over here, does have the Cyclone available. As Arrow will connect there. Gumayusi going to be able to land it. And now Owner is in so much trouble. The knockup's coming on in. As immediately both of the junglers do hit the ground.
And carry on the bottom side at the same time as getting that dragon.
Yeah.
And
Doran
first
is
brick
kind
is
of
a race.
Yeah, Doran's wasting time just a little bit here. You see the Drake going to go over to Owner.
And Owner is Pantheon, so if they stick around too long, he will be able to ult up topside. Faker has TP as well, so they really need to be careful about how long they stick around here. Doran is, like you said, trying to waste their time. Zeka coming over here.
Oh, Zeka going to have to try and flash away, but it's not going to work as Keria follows him. Phase Rush comes in, Killer Instinct goes down, but Zeka survives! The flash from FaZe, and it's not enough! As Delight keeps him alive, and now Guma's making his way over! And now that chain CC comes in! Guma's free hitting, looking for those autos! It is going to be Doran with that Void Rush, making something happen here. But I don't know whether it's going to be enough. There's even another teleport coming in as Zeka wants to make his way back. Another beat drop there from Delight. As, man, he's making some music on the Rift here today.
And Hanwha Life did get that top turret before this all happened as well. So they end up with beats of strength and the team fight win in the skirmish.
Oh, Keria in a lot of trouble here as well as Gumayusi's going to flash on top of him. Feels like this one's personal as he throws the volley back just in case. So going to be going for that one. And should be Fimbulwinter eventually, as he has that tier stacked up. Unless it's just like a, I want to have some extra mana tier. But it,
probably
still
not.
The Fimbulwinter is going to work very well.
Absolutely.
On the Sejuani.
Okay, they're going to try to punish this Herald charge.
Yeah, this is not exactly looking like the most powerful one. As never mind, going to get some knockups here from Kanavi as he just takes FaZe out of the fight. Great Encore does come in as well. As now into the backline they go. The Pop Blossom defensively is not going to work as the T1 members, their health bars are just getting destroyed. Kanavi does go down though in the fight as Keria exceptionally low. FaZe pays out of the fight at the same time as now Faker, the last bastion of hope here. He will be able to put down a Glacial Storm, but the turret will not be saved. Winter's Wrath comes in. Oh god, Zeus almost just straight up dead, but Faker in so much trouble. The egg, it's under the safety of the turret, but Guma wants to kill FaZe at the same time. And Delight just throws in the high note and takes down the goat under the turret.
And
they do have help on the way. As Doran not going to commit to anything, but look at this. It goes down so fast with Guma's arrows. He's looking for 2 items pretty soon as there is a Glacial Prison. That's working out very nicely as Owner is just going to get torn apart. Could not move the entire time. As you mentioned, the transformation, Faker does get to that one, but now Otacon is getting started up. Keria going to spot exactly what's happening here. But do they have an answer? That's the question. Zeus has teleport, can get himself down here, and in fact he will. As Owner and FaZe, they can both dive bomb the backline if they would like to. We'll see whether they are going to pull that trigger as it's a dangerous one. Things looking pretty dark on Summoner's Rift right now. And there it is. Grand Starfall comes in. Now they're going to try and work things out as the Monkey is just going to explode immediately. The ulti out of Delight is not really working. And now Pop Blossom is going to pick up the remainder. Down down goes the Otacon in favor of Owner, and T1 are striking back. Doran surviving, Gumayushi nothing he can do as Delight running for the hills. Pei's going to be able to help Owner get another kill, and T1 back on the board.
I don't know how close he is to 16, but that's going to be a huge spike for this Anivia, who also now has that arm guard for safety. The zoning here that T1 has is pretty strong. They need to be very careful. Again, whoever gets hit by that CC is not going to be long for this world. It needs to be Owner. Best case scenario for them is Faker has to flash.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the stun there, as you can see, knocked around like a ragdoll. There's the encore, connects onto a whole lot, but the Pop Blossom into the backline. Gumayushi is dead immediately, and Faker buys so much time. It will be Pei's going down, and now they're looking for the egg. They will be able to get that, but at what cost? Ladies and gentlemen, as Zeka wants to be able to kill them, he finds another one, but they are still alive, as Owner and Doran are going to be able to help take down this dragon, and T1 win the fight. He's on his Hourglass instead, wants to get a bit of Magic Pen as Doran. Can they actually kill him? That's the question, as the arrow will connect to make sure that he does go down.
This is where it's tough to get that chain CC if you are HLE, because you don't have a ton of vision here. You don't really have an angle of approach. They're going to have to force their way over now. Zeka's the only one who's close. This might just be gone.
Yeah, well, the rest of HLE are going to try and make this one happen as Doran gets the knock up. It is not going to be stolen away, as there is the Baron for T1. Pop Blossom comes in. Can T1 keep themselves alive, though? That's the question, as Pei's trying to get himself out of here. The Winter's Wrath will take him down, and now Faker is trying to escape as well. He goes golden, breaks that arm guard finally, but it is not going to be enough. And down will go the egg as well, as HLE, they deal with the 3 on the bottom side for T1. They keep 2 Barons at minus 1,000. They still have a couple left available. Oh, good supercharge there from Pace to get himself out of the way, but now it's Owner that's in a whole lot of trouble. HLE wanting some revenge after he stole the dragon. The encore is fantastic, and down he will go. The GA is actually going to get eaten up at the same time, as no one's going to be there to save him. It's Guma that takes the kill. And now HLE on the warpath once again. Faker, remember, no egg up and available, as there's the killer instinct. Down will go Guma, and Doran's in that front line making things happen, but still the damage is there on behalf of Zeka, who is now looking for Carrier to grab even more. Tunnel out there from Doran, as for 44 seconds, he does still have a Baron left, as Zeka is going to flash on top of Carrier, will be able to take him down. And no Nicoing around for you. So T1 once again lose themselves a team fight. Would agree.
And Hanwha Esports need to be set up to get that chain CC together. If they start getting pulled around the map by side lane pressure, that's where things can really, really go bad. So I think basically right now, HLE kind of need to group as 5 and occasionally send someone to defend. Kanavi, whoa, whoa, whoa!
This is crazy. I don't know what he's doing here, but Zeus is going to back him up. Kanavi goes down to the GA. But the rest of the team, are they going to be able to get in here? There's the flash. Pop Blossom on to 3, but the encore is fantastic. Glacial Prison goes wide, and Faze is able to take down Guma. Evaporates the bottom lane as it's a triple kill. Could it even be a penta as he's looking for the quadra? There it is. And down he will go. Pentakill for Faze.
A penta for Faze. And T1. They group around this dragon, but far before it spawns, they find an even bigger prize. A collapse onto Kanavi. Hanwha Esports desperately scramble to try to defend. Delight has a good encore, but it's Carrier with another flash ult to catch 3 and win the fight and the game here for T1 to bring us to a 3rd game. 6 out of 6 on the day for us, Atlas, so far.
I'd definitely give it a 6 out of 6. 100%, Wolf. This is so incredibly good. T1 going to be able to take down the Nexus here and bring us to that deciding game in the series. As everyone's respawning, there is an Owner on the fountain, and my goodness.
Team fights here. I think Faker had an amazing game on the Anivia, and Pace, when he was given an angle, he took it. He had an incredible game 1.
Going to be going all in for this one. They're going to be throwing Delight into the middle of the battle as well. And T1, what is this last pick going to be? Vayne is being hovered. That would be insanity. But I imagine Sivir is probably where they're going to go. Sivir Karma is just so powerful, and the Spell Shield will be very useful as well. As Pace,
I mean,
no, he's giggling. I'm a little bit frightened.
Ghost Vayne actually kind of works, but Sivir is just so much safer. You have the wave clear in the bottom, 2v2, with the Karma that's so incredibly powerful. Once we swap to the mid lane, you'll never be able to compete as the Kalista there unless you get an all-in, which will be so tricky to pull off.
Might connect with that minion though, which is a little bit frustrating, as no snare connects. And now Zeka, oh my goodness, the 5-point strike actually being returned did so much damage there.
Yeah, that was wild. That's an incredibly difficult ability to rebut, but Timing works out. Zeka just kind of throws it straight into the deflect there.
Yeah.
And that's big damage. Faker wins the lane, or at least this portion of it, as a result, and will force the teleport out of Zeka. Already really tough for the Akali to get poked out in this early laning phase. Gets straight into the root.
Yeah, that's not necessarily working out here. Zeka goes right back in once again. Faker down so low. Zeka just needs one more, and there it is! And he dabs on him to get first blood solo kill here.
TP. So TP straight into the root. That means the root's on cooldown. Zeka's aware of it. So goes for the all-in instantly here. Puts up the shroud. Faker cues the wave. And then he's like, okay, this is the angle. Nope.
Yeah, gets the empowered auto right at the end just in time to get that extra range. Is here on the bottom side of the map. Gumayushi gonna have to flash to get out of the way of Owner, and Pays taking so much damage. He has to flash. He's on vision. And he has by about 12 CS, so Pays doing a great job as far as putting on the pressure. That is to be expected with a Sivakama lane. They are just very, very good at killing minions, and now Doran's going to face check. Maybe not wanting that one is to the skies here from Zeus. Working out nicely. There's the flash and the alley-oop.
Deal, but he is alone.
Yeah,
I think he's
Faker
going to have to opt
also
out.
makes his way into the brush. Still not going to connect the snare. This is taking a while to go down. Let's see whether Kanavi can actually get himself in here, as T1 should be able to create the space. There's no steal for Kanavi, but there's still an opportunity to go for a team fight. Running out of buttons to press, though, is now Faker with the rebuttals. Not going to make that one work. Perfect execution.
Guma?
And Zeka gets a second one. Guma's going to die to Doran in the top lane. It's solo kill central.
And farm, that does hurt her power, but Zeka can well and truly make up for it here as Faker is able to hit the root, but the backflip still hits. And this time, not rebut the 5-point strike. The second part of the ultimate will assassinate Faker as Guma.
Oh, this was very cute, actually, out of
Doesn't have
Doran.
flash.
Just giving him nowhere to go. Fully charges it up, gets the flash chop. And speaking of which, we got even more happening here as there's the Fate's Goal owner inside his own Cataclysm. Kanavi gets bailed out as Gumayushi's still hopping around the battlefield. Pays in so much trouble in the spell shield. Is it going to be enough as Guma gets over there? There's the double. Faker comes in, shuts him up. But that is still a big amount of damage, as now Faker once again having to deal with Zeka, who's getting distracted by Akama here at the same time. It looks like he won't be able to kill either of them, as Keria doesn't quite get the Mantra Q, and Zeka will be able to make his way out
For the third, and that is going to be a big win here for Hanwha Life.
Oh, Gumayushi a little bit ahead of the wave here. There's the flash, and that is just a solo bolo for the GOAT. Now Pays could be in trouble as well. All these mid laners just having it out against the 80 carries, but this time Pays has the flash. He's able to get himself to safety.
Looking for a 2-item spike later on.
Dash cannon is done here for Zeka as he's looking for Pays. Cease and desist does come down. There's the shuriken backflip, and Pays, he doesn't have enough spell shields. Point strike does do a bit of damage here to Keria, but otherwise it's not too much to worry about. Doran actually feeling very happy. Does have his Frozen Heart already completed, and that means that it's really difficult here for Zeus. Gets himself his Eclipse online.
The slow. Almost has a flash angle there.
Almost. T1 here on the second Drake of the game, though, as it's going to be a Chemtech. We'll have to see what the soul is going to be.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, it's a decent flank angle. Great handshake, and the double Vault Breaker into the triple knockup is absurd. Still T1 are fighting back, but there's a perfect execution as it is going to be Ona taking down Gumayushi, and Zeka and Zeus are the only ones left alive. And
good set up a dive here with Owner.
yeah, there's a lot of T1 members here in this mid lane. They really want to brute force this turret as okay, Snare not going to come through there as now Kanavi looking for that backline. He gets in there, knocks all of them up. Hostile takeover comes in. The carrier going to be able to take down Delight already. Zeka's trying to get that work done though, as now Gumayushi trying to hop around this battle. Zeka gets back in there once again, and the Marshall pose is too good here for Gumayushi. Zeka able to get back, and it's the double shock blast out from Zeus, who turns up looking to take down the rest of the members, and now the flash in from Guma picks up the triple kill for Zeus.
That style is going to work when this Akali is so online. Not to mention the Jace, of course, that you were just talking about.
Yeah, they're all very scary. Speaking of scary, Atakan has just spawned.
Yeah, that one might be one where you could look for an opportunistic fight. The Herald is just dropped in the middle of nowhere.
Navi just wants to go for a drive, perhaps? Yeah. Let's see where he's going. Gonna head down towards this bottom side, by the looks of things. to need to navigate through a few walls, but really nicely driven, and going to be able to grab that turret. Second here for HLE.
With no turret here anymore, and Faker's still sitting on, okay, he just got his second item, but still not that strong just yet. This is a risky fight for T1, but they're going to commit.
A lot of vision available here for HLE. They know exactly what's going on. This Otacon down very low as Doran's made his way in. Zeus on a flank angle. That's a big shock blast to start this fight off. As they get the Cataclysm in, Owner's out of there as well. Massive damage here as the bailout comes through for Kanavi. He gets the ult off, but into the backline goes Zeka. And it's Gumayushi able to get the damage down, but still T1 are in there. Carriers running for the hills though, and they don't have the damage remaining. HLE, another big team fight and a triple for Zeka.
I think Zeka's probably on par for a player of the game.
All right, well, now Faker could be in a little bit of trouble from said player of the game. And Zeka, that is a caster blessing there. Wolf, very nicely done.
The map here as well. And with the prio they have in control vision around the entrances to this dragon, I think this will be soul point soon here for HLE as well. Zeus does have his Edge of Night. We'll see if it allows him to get out of this one.
Yeah,
has some friends coming.
To come in. There's the knock-up. Teleports come forward from Faker, wanting to make sure that he can take down Zeus. He will be able to get on in there, but Kanavi's going to turn up. There's the cease and desist, and Zeus still alive as Delight comes back forward. Hostile takeover, but it's sent right back towards him. The Fates call comes in, though, to save his life. And now Kanavi has pushed the rest of them out of there, and Ona, he needs to go a really long way to get himself out of here. And it might actually just work out. Doran just throws a Q the wrong direction, but Gumayushi's able to take down the Jarvan. And Zeka follows suit on the other side of the map. The Zombie Scion just taken for a walk here as now Pays caught in transition as Kanavi comes over. That is not going to be the spell shield that's going to save his life. Stoppable Onslaught is named that for a reason.
But T1 lose that ultimate, and really, I mean, it's in trade for the Kanavi ult, but I don't know if he's necessarily going to need it if they're trying to turn off of Baron. Is a big one to go down. Zeka's flank, though, even bigger.
Yeah, Vault Breaker coming on in here as now Pays could be in trouble once again. He does make it out to relative safety as now Delight very, very low. Hostile takeover is once again going to get rebutted, but Zeka gets into the backline. The Mel goes down. The Civ is dead as well. All the carries are being torn asunder. And Zeka might be getting his pentakill of the game, but never mind. It's just going to be a quadra as Kanavi takes the last one away. Still, HLE look like they're going to be winning this best of 3, and they've got a date with D+ Kia a little bit later, and T1 look to be the ones tasked with going up against Nongshim Red Force to stay alive here in KeSPA Cup 2025.
I don't know if Kanavi's making friends with Zeka on this play, but I think he certainly was in some of those team fights throughout this series as Kanavi shows up in a big way in this one, but it's all about Zeka in Game 3. The Akali could not have been more online, more early there, and T1 fall by the wayside as carries are deleted over and over and over by the king of Akali in the mid lane. The man who 3 years ago won a world championship through this pick. And for Hanwha Life, I think they came in as slight underdogs here because T1 won the world championship. Their performances looked incredible in the group stage, but it was only slight favorites, right? You mentioned at the beginning of the day, it's so incredibly difficult to predict this series. It went down to the wire. 2 of our first games incredibly close. The third one, though, once HLE came online, it was just, there was no stopping them in this one.
Yeah, and you saw there, all of the players know each other very, very well. Kerry and Gumayushi clapping hands and smiles on the faces. As this is not going to be the last we see of T1. Don't you worry about that. It's not first stand. It's not LCK Cup. This is double elimination. So T1 will be now going up against Nongshim Red Force.
Faker versus Scout rematch down there in the lower bracket.
Oh, that's a bit of fun.